All right. Welcome to Roofer to Roofer. What's up, Scott?
Yo,
Hey.
working with this new computer, man. Trying to
Oh, yeah.
get get with the times here and try this new laptop out. So, how's my audio and video on this? I'm not. I just try. I wanted to try it without just to see how it went.
Yeah. Um, wait, what do you mean without? Like without any
I
kind
don't
of
have my mic or
or camera?
extra camera set up. I just trying it with the laptop.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. You're like windowed, which I haven't seen before. Not sure why. Um, oh, that's not what I meant to do. It's like you have bars around your, maybe that's normal on laptops. Can't remember. It might be a video setting.
Panelist appearance.
Videos. Oh, maybe go to your video settings. You go to if you click on video and then like the up
Yeah.
arrow and then video settings. I think there's a little button called original ratio. At least I see it on mine. And maybe if you uncheck that, it might be checked for you right now.
Yeah, it
Is
doesn't look to have that for me.
We can figure it out. I think we got a call um maybe even tomorrow or something, and we can look at it. I mean, you look good. You look good.
Good.
It's a minor thing.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
gotta you you changed how your name looks. I don't know how you did.
Yeah. Well, settings. I get messing around with shit here.
Uh, um. All right. Well, let's get started. We got a special guest with us today. I see Dave Sullivan in the attendees.
Oh, goody.
Hey, Dave. Um, Dave, do you wanna hop on for a second? Say hello. I'm just gonna let him talk.
Hey, what's up? Whoops.
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
It's going great. I've got a client. We just did a demo with a client of mine, and I saw your thing pop up. He has some questions on the technical side and so forth, and I told him about Scott and doing onboarding. So I said, I just sent him an email saying, "Hey, jump on this thing. You can see what these guys are all about." But yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he's just going to get. Well, we need to meet next week, Scott, and then uh, set something up with him. But I think he's
Yeah.
ready to get it going.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Are you still on vacation?
I just got on vacation and I just drove 8 hours in a freaking monsoon. It took me 8.5 hours to make a 6 hour drive. And, uh, and when I say 6 hours, that's what the RV GPS tracked it at. Usually I can beat that time by a little bit because I run this thing like it's a pickup truck. But uh, anyway, yeah,
Wow.
I
Well,
got parked at
Savannah?
I am in Hilton Head,
Hilton
just
Head.
north of Savannah. So yeah, I actually was just texting with John trying to set a time to hook up with him here this weekend. But yeah, I got parked at about 2:50, and I think I drank 2 beers by 3 o'clock. My nerves were shot. I'm not a heavy drinker, but I was like, okay, I need to knock the edge off because I was about to rip my kids' heads off. My wife, I was going to rip her head off. It was
that's
just
that's a long
traffic
time.
and yeah, traffic and the rain. It was just a miserable drive. So, but we're
Well,
here, and it's actually really nice out right now. So we're very lucky.
well, my wife would get out of the car after about a half hour. She says, "You're so boring. There's no way I'm going cross country with you."
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
I'll let you go, but good to see
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, if you stick around, have you actually been on one of these with us before? Do you know how they go?
I've been in and out a little bit on one of the one before.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah. If you have any questions you want to hit us with, we'll of course answer your questions anytime, Dave.
hey, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know that the guy that we just met with, I want him to come on because he's got some technical questions and so forth. And but
Yeah.
Brett did a great job and looks good.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, Dave.
Great.
Thanks.
See you
Later.
guys.
All right. Let's jump into some questions. Let me see. We'll start with some light stuff here. Should I use a drone for my roof inspections?
Yeah, for sure. Every sales rep that I have has a drone. We've got decent ones. I don't want to say they're great, but we all have the DJI Maverick, if that sounds right.
Mavic or
Uh,
Maverick or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, everybody has the same one, um, and that's kind of part of their job is keeping batteries charged each day. Because if you're going to a steep pitch roof, you know, the way our insurance is wrote up, or workers' comp, those guys are not to be climbing on steep pitch roofs. So we keep them off there. They're great. You can get somebody that's it takes a skilled person to get around the steeper roofs, and most sales reps are just not confident or comfortable climbing on these things. So you can do a really really good inspection with a drone, and that they make sense.
Well, isn't it also kind of, and like, doesn't it sort of impress the homeowner too? I mean, or do you ever have homeowners that are saying, "Oh no, you got to get up on my roof"?
Um, you know, I think people are more accustomed now to that kind of inspection. When we first started doing it a handful of years ago, there were customers that were a little taken back. They kind of thought that wasn't sufficient. But then as soon as like I said, the drones we've got are pretty daggone good. So once you go inside and show them your inspection report of your photos and your videos, and you can see really really clear the imagery of what's going on up there, then they're like, oh yeah, you probably didn't need to get up there. That's more than sufficient. So nowadays, I do feel like it does impress a little bit. But if we can walk it, we would rather do a physical inspection. I would rather them do that because I think you can find a little bit more. You can find potential flaws or damage a little bit easier actually walking that roof and feeling for soft spots in the plywood. You can just kind of walking it and doing a real hands-on inspection. I think is, put it this way, it's just like selling a roof through the phone versus going and meeting the homeowner at the kitchen table.
Really?
There's a level of hands-on ability there that like it just takes it to another level. Your inspection is just a little bit better, I think. So if possible, we do like to get up on there and check that thing out, but it doesn't make good sense. You show up, it's 10 on 12, it's 2 stories, or it's slate, and it's an 8 on 12 slate job. You're going to tear up more slate trying to walk that thing than you're doing good. So
Yeah.
there's too many situations where it's a daily occurrence. We're pulling a drone out of the truck and doing an inspection that way.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. It's kind of situational at the end.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's necessary for every job, but I think it definitely has its place in the toolbox.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. What are the most important elements of a compelling sales presentation for roofing?
I think different, and that's such I'm going to say a broad statement, differentiating yourself from your competition. And that's what everybody says you should be doing. But you really have to build into your process ways to set yourself apart. So, I think today, if you don't offer financing, I don't know how you're still existing. So, things like that have in the past been the differentiator, right? So, like, if you were the guy that we had it on our truck wraps, and I kind of wish I don't have it anymore, just because it's like, to me, everybody should have that, and most people do. Um, we offer financing or whatever it says on the truck. But I think things like the system you're installing and then the warranty that you're putting behind it, those are things that it takes a certain level of business to have. So anybody can offer a good roof system, but if you're factory backed by a manufacturer warranty, you've done some steps, you've went through some processes to kind of go a step further. But to just say, well, we're GAF Master Elite certified, blah blah blah, whatever, we can give you a gold pledge warranty. Well, that doesn't really mean shit to a homeowner. To me, you need a piece of material, a piece of the ice guard that you're going to put on versus a piece of stock felt or whatever that your competition's putting on in their roof system. We're showing documentation of the pictures of recent jobs where you've tore it off to a clean deck, not just rip the shingles off, leave the felt on, and nail new shingles on. Doing things like that, I think you really have to point out why you are better. And today it's getting harder and harder to do that because the competition, the level is, I feel like, steadily stepping up to the plate. But yeah, I think you have to find little things like that you're doing every day that is probably a step better than the guys around you.
Yeah. And then actually communicate that.
Yeah, you have to present it. You can't just tell them you're better or tell them you've got a good warranty. You have to tell them why the warranty means something.
Yep. Do you guys, when you're doing sales presentations, do you have your guys present off of the quote? Like, do you generate your quote and then present off of that, or is it like a separate thing, or how does that work for you guys?
So the way in our quote template, we kind of tee ourselves up. So the layers of our template, break down what we're doing to give them that better quality product and that more high-end roof system. So as we walk through that quote template that we're sending them, before we get to the price, we're the template shows it, but then it gives us an opportunity to kind of explain it and show them some material that would be in their project, not the competitor's project. So yeah, it's kind of a mix. It's definitely part of our quote presentation just because of how we've built our template out. But yeah, it's kind of they go together.
Yep. Makes sense. All right. If anyone has any questions, please put those in the chat or put those in the Q&A section at the bottom. Oh, I think, let me see. With chat, I think for some reason it's not letting everyone chat. Okay. All right. Yeah, the chat is open now as well. I need to change that setting in our webinars. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please do hit us with those. Otherwise, we're just going through our questions that we already have lined up. Let's see, chat settings. All right. Next question that I have on our list is as a roofing business owner, Scott, what tips do you have when it comes to managing your time and being efficient with your time and energy as an owner?
This is a really good question. So I actually I bet it took me a solid year of real focus and effort. And I've passed that on to my sales reps of time management, because I think everything in business boils down to time management. I've got one sales guy selling $5 million a year consecutively. I mean, this will be year 3 that he's going to do that. You can't do that if you're not managing your time well. And he has no help. There is no project manager that takes his. He does it. He runs the full thing. So obviously, what I'm doing with him is working. He's and as we go, what's awesome to see is year to year, he's less busy and less busy while still producing the same volume of work. So to me, that that proves what we're doing is working. But yeah, so with what I teach my guys, and this is so old school, and everybody's probably like got some better system. Carry a yellow notepad. So that was my thing. I had this yellow notebook, and I actually got this from the first business coach I ever had, and it was probably the biggest thing I took away from that coach from working with him for about a year. He said, carry this yellow notepad every evening when you sit down. You know, you're sitting there, you're watching a TV show, getting the kids to bed, whatever. You got that minute of quiet time. Write down tomorrow's agenda. Always put the highest priority items at the top of the list. Obviously, it goes down from there to the least priority. If something has a time that you have to do it, write the time next to that item. Tomorrow, when you go to start your list, every time you scratch off, say tomorrow, oil change in the truck's top priority. Let's just say you scratch that off the list. What he told me to do, I thought was the dumbest ass thing I ever, but I swear to God, it was awesome. You physically make a fist and go, yes, you know, and what it does. So that sounds stupid, but it creates an endorphin, and you feel a sense of accomplishment. Okay, you're basically forcing that mentality into your brain that, yeah, I got it done. On to the next thing, you know, and basically it amps yourself up to where I ain't going to fuck around till I get to the next thing. Let's go do the next thing, right? Let's go get on that next thing on the checklist. Let's go get it done. Scratch out and off. Yes. Move on to the next one. So at the end of the day, you're probably not going to get everything done. The goal is not to get everything done. It's to get as much accomplished in your time frame as possible, knowing that some of those things are very low priority and they may get pushed till later in the week. But at the end of the day, you rip that piece of paper out of your notebook. You only have one page in the notebook that matters, and it's the top page. The rest of them go in the trash each day. You throw it away. So that tonight, I'm going to write down anything that I didn't get done, and I'm going to move it up that list a little higher into the priority chain, because now, okay, I missed it today. Didn't matter. I didn't have to do it. But tomorrow I want to probably get to a few more of these things, right? Every day you continue to do that, dude, you will get more done by that stupid yellow notepad. It worked for me. For me, we became so efficient because everything was in writing. There was no remembering a task to do. Middle of the day, you remember, oh shit, I forgot to put that on my notebook. If it needs to be at the top of the priority list, put it on the top of the priority list next to something else. You know, put it up at the top. You know, things always come up. We're business owners. There's always anomalies. There's always things, you know, hitting us, blindsiding us. You just add it to the list. And then, like I said, the fist pump sounds so dumb, and I don't do it anymore. But for probably 6 months, I took his advice on it. I tried it. My production rate was so freaking high. I was just able to accomplish so many things because I had a list. I got myself excited every time I completed a task, and it pumped me up to go get that next task done as quick as possible and as well as I could do it. So that's how we teach it now, and it works. Might sound goofy, but we've had success.
I like that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try the fist pump.
You will find yourself getting excited. I truly did. And like I said, I think it sounds dumb as hell. It sounds so childish, right? But there's something when you like, yeah, I got it done. Yeah, good. You know, your body creates some sort of excitement in your brain. You can't stop it. So, yeah, I liked it. I stuck with it. Now I train it. So.
I think it's tempting / easy to fall into sort of the viewing your to-do list as a whole that you're climbing out of, where it's like I have to get everything on this checked off, or you know, nothing, or we're on track, right? Like viewing it as like I'm climbing out of a hole versus I like that reframe that you're forcing yourself. It's like, no, each thing on this list actually does move me. It's a win.
It's a win.
It's not when everything gets checked off. Each step itself is a win that's moving you in the right direction. I think
Yes.
that's a really good mentality. Really good mentality. Yeah, that's really good. I always use the notes pad on my iPhone. Like I've used so many different like project management, and we use something called Notion for ProLine for like all kinds of project management stuff that we're working on. But me personally, what am supposed to do personally, I manage in just like a to-do list in my iPhone Notes app, and it's just like I keep coming back to that. It's just so simple. Um, but there is something tangible about it being on a piece of paper too.
I feel like it's just like us printing off quotes and handing them to customers instead of just emailing.
Yeah.
Holding on to that, touching it, like you said, that tangible piece. I have moved to using notes on my phone, but I tried using notes on my phone originally, never was any good, and I had to get myself to where that worked for me, but it just didn't work to start.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. John is asking, Scott, what do you feel is your most challenging market? I'm assuming he means market that you're in.
Yeah, I think if you're asking about location of market, there's two that are complicated. My hometown market's not difficult. That one's the easy one. We do well there. We have a ton of success there, but I also have a ton of roots there. We're ranked number one on Google in all those areas around it. The one that we struggle with is Charleston, West Virginia. The that area is notorious for being underpriced, so it's very cutthroat. And we rank on Google in that market, but it's just even the good contractors there are very underpriced. And then right across the river from my house, little town called Parkersburg, West Virginia, which is 4 times the size of my hometown, we struggle because of that state border. We cannot rank on Google. We don't show up there. It's just that one's always been a challenge because organically we don't exist because of the state line. Even though it's 5 minutes away, we have not found the solution to fix that. All the Ohio markets, I love it. We do well. Even the one we just started this year up in Athens, Ohio, we're doing very well there. Towards the end of this year, it's really started to pick up, and it's brand new to us. But you know, we rank number 2 there already on Google, so it's small pond, but it's still we have a lot of success. Google's our second lead source. Referrals number 1 and Google's number 2. So if you take Google out of the mix, it gets a little difficult.
Yeah. Do you think that's just because of the competition that's in that market, or what, Scott?
It is a little saturated for all the bigger it is, but we don't exist online there. So
yeah,
I mean, we don't even get opportunities where really we should probably get those opportunities. I mean, we're as good or better than most of the competition there, in my opinion. But we just don't. And price wise, we beat them. Most of the good competition, we're better priced than. We just don't get the look because we're not ranking.
You got to Google My Business there, I'm assuming.
I don't, because my home office is 5 minutes from there. Does that make sense? But the state line separates it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally 5 minutes from it. It's just I can see it from my office, literally. Like I can look out my office and see it.
Yeah.
But we can't rank because Google recognizes that border as a boundary that we don't cross.
So you got to have a actual state and be in the actual state.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. I talked to Dima about it a little bit, and yeah, that was his take on it as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you'd have to get an actual physical office across the state line. You can send smoke signals from one office to the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, John's talking about the ProLine Mafia. ProLine Mafia is legit.
He told me he's the one that coined that phrase, so he wants extra T-shirts.
I'll give it to you, John, unless somebody else claims it. I don't remember. I don't remember that, but I'll let you have it, John. I'll let you have it. He might have come up
He
with it.
said he coined it. He told me that today.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. John is creative like that. All right. Yeah, I want to see the original post, John. I want to see the original post. It's not that I don't believe you, but I would like to still see it. We'll frame it. We need to get it and frame it. We'll create a second line of t-shirts that have that on it that are just for you. It'll be great. I'll wear it. All right. What's next? Next question here. While John's finding that post. Hey John, let me know once you get that. We'll tag you in. You can just show it on your screen or whatever or something like that. All right. Okay. Next question. Oh, this is actually a question that I think you'll want to weigh in on, John. Should I have as a roofing contractor, should I have my own mobile app that my customers can download and use? So should I pay someone to create a mobile app for my roofing company that can then be downloaded by my customers? Yes or no? Scott?
I'll answer, but I think you ought to let John on. He lives in a little different. He's got the same opinion I got. So,
John, well, let me let John in.
yeah,
Here we go. I think you probably have the same opinion on it. John. Hey, Johnny, there?
Definitely not. People don't need another app on their phone. People like, what are they going to use it for? Seriously.
You're just complicating the sale to a point where
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
we tried doing that for referrals, having like an app just for customer referrals, and it was about as dead as it could be. And people, whenever they want to refer you, they'll call you because they had a good experience, not because they have an app on their phone. Definitely not needed, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd add to that even. I know a lot of people using other CRMs, integrating things like Arrivy. My outlook on roofing is this is a 1 day project. Like, I want to sell you a really good product, a really good customer experience, but I want to get in and out of here, and you want me in and out of here as quickly as possible. We don't. The process should not require me to. You don't even need to be there. Why do you need to know where the crew's at, what time they're arriving? No, I'm telling you, they're going to be there between 7 and 7:30. Bet your ass they're there between 7 and 7:30. To have to go download the Arrivy app and get the updates, and I think that's how it works. I could be off, but does anybody even really want to go through the hassle of doing that to just have you show up one time and probably never see that entire crew ever again other than the sales rep to close the job out? Hopefully, if you did your job right, they'll never see the sales rep again. That's our job is to show up, do you a great job, treat you incredible throughout the way, and then leave you with a great product and that you never have to call back on. So I even think things like that, to have your own app, I think is a complete waste. But even those other apps that try to enhance the customer experience, you know, I think that they're more of a waste of time.
Yeah. I kicked John out. He asked me to. Thanks for the input on that, John, though. I figured you'd have an opinion.
I'm just glad to see he's here and he hasn't got blown away yet.
All right. So the yeah, I'm surprised you have internet right now, John. Down there in Florida. Um, so no, I totally agree. I think there's always the people that are like, oh, ordering or getting a roof should be like ordering on Amazon. And I think, as we've discussed before, that's not a good comparison. But I do think a reasonable comparison, still not the same, but there is closer similarities. Is like when you're ordering not for the sales part of the process, but on the production side, like the Domino's pizza tracker is like that very cool experience of kind of being in the loop on the process. But you would, unlike pizza, where you're going to do it a bunch of times, where it does make sense to have potentially an app. Um, yeah, it would not make sense for that for roofing. We've discussed this, and we'll probably do this at some point for ProLine, and that is just we've actually first built like the foundations of it. We have now a project dashboard that can be shared from ProLine, but it just shows the files. So any public files, it's meant for like sharing photos and stuff from ProLine. So we have that. But we're going to be building off of that. And one of the things that we want to build into that is kind of like a Domino's pizza tracker that is based off of your stages. So where a project is in the ProLine stages, you can configure that to show the timeline of the project on the customer side and tell ProLine, all right, when it's in this stage in ProLine, show it as this inside to the customer. On the customer side, like say that it's at this stage. So that's something that we'd like to add, but that will be at a URL. So that will just be a URL that's shareable with the customer. They can go back and look at their text message anytime, click on it, and open it up. Where there's no app to download, nothing like that. Which I think that's I think is critical, because what you're talking about. It's a one-day thing. No one wants to download an app for it.
I think you can already kind of do that through automated messaging, not necessarily a URL, because we do it to a degree to what I believe for now is efficient and sufficient. It works. Every time we move them to a new stage, they get an alert. Your materials have been ordered. They'll be there within 5 to 7 days. We'll touch base the day before delivery. Materials are delivered today. Whatever. Like, we just move them. Every time something happens, we move them, and they do get some sort of messaging to kind of keep them informed.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
takes time to dial in, though. It takes a little bit of time to figure out your process to get that right.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be the same with any kind of tracker thing like that. I mean, you got to configure it and set it up right how you want it to be, and I think it would be that idea that we have. It's somewhere on our idea board right now, but it's just one of those. It's a nice to have thing. It's a cool thing, but like you're saying, I mean, what really matters more than that is the proactive communication, the proactive emails and text messages telling them what's going on. That's like, if you don't have that, you can't only have the pizza tracker. You have to have the emails and text first, and then potentially have that on top of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next question here. All right. What kind of documentation or materials do you provide to a customer after they've signed the quote? So once they've signed the quote, like, is there anything that you give them after they've signed the quote to sort of prep them for the job?
Yeah, we send an email and a text out once they sign, and it's not real crazy or elaborate, but basically it's I think the title of the email is how to have an excellent roofing experience or something like that. And basically we just kind of lay out the groundwork of, as the homeowner, there are a few things you need to do to ensure this is a great experience. We can only do so much. Like for instance, mow your grass right before we come. Um, we lay tarps down, do the catch-all, we do all that stuff, but nails fly off a roof, clear out in the yard. It happens. If you've got your grass cut short, our magnets will pick them up very well. If your grass is, a foot tall, it's almost impossible to ever get those nails out of that grass. So it's just a nice checklist. If you've got anything in your landscaping that you don't want broke, we will double check that there's nothing, and we will take the time to move it. But we would rather you pick up the little knickknacks in your landscape, just that way it doesn't get lost or misplaced or broken while we're moving it. We'd rather you, handle your objects like that yourself. But yeah, we just kind of give them a little bit of a checklist of things to do to make sure that they have a good experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like, you said you just have it typed out. It's not like a video or anything like that?
No, it's just I don't know. I think it's maybe like, I don't know. It's like 2 paragraphs, but short. It's nothing real crazy. Just a typed out. The text message basically reverts to the email. So the text message says, "Hey, thanks so much for signing a contract with Ring Stoppers Roofing. Please take the time to read the email I just sent you."
Yeah.
And the email is a little bit more professionally wrote, to where we get across the point of what you need to do, what you need to expect. One of them is like, we're going to come put a yard sign in your yard in the next day or so. Please leave it there until we finish the project. So that does 2 things. It gives us some marketing material in their yard for 3 to 4 weeks, guaranteed. If you just put it in there the day of the job, they may take it out the day after the job. Nobody may have ever saw it.
Yep.
So this gets it in there for 3 to 4 weeks for sure. But it also ensures that our delivery goes to the right job. I don't know about anybody else, but delivery guys screw up, period. But if there's a sign in the yard in front of the driveway that you sold the house, that's where they're going to deliver it. They're not going to deliver it. And we have, before we started doing that, it was once a month we'd get a call. Hey, my materials are sitting at the neighbor's house. Oh shit. Well, I'll get a forklift out and we'll come move that stuff. We literally, it never happens now. So, yeah, just things like that. It's co-beneficial. It's beneficial for us. It's beneficial for them.
Yep. No, that makes sense. What do you think about, because I know John, he used to, I don't know if he still does this, but John Delorier, he had very similar to that, but it was in video form. So he had a YouTube video. He might still have that, but it basically goes through the same things. Do you have a preference? Have you guys just not done a video, or is it intentional that you think it's better in text?
I like text, but I also have just been lazy, and because there's a few videos I've got on my list in my notes currently that are very low on the priority chain. They're actually so low that they're on a separate notepad. But this winter, I'm hoping to revamp our automations with some video. One of them being our appointment reminders. That's where I'd like to add a little bit of video, kind of an introduction to the sales rep that's going out to the appointment. Yeah. So yeah, we've got some things in the works that we're going to add some video, and maybe that'd be a place where we could, add a video. That would make good sense.
Yep. Makes sense. All right. Got time for a couple more questions here. If anybody has questions that's joining in, let us know. Otherwise, just keep answering ours. I'll make sure I have that. What are the best social media accounts or channels to follow to get more roofing business knowledge and news?
Oh my gosh. I don't know that I'm your guy. I'm pretty fresh back to the social media world. I like the Name That Shingle Facebook page. That one
Yeah.
seems to be have some information, and then there's another one. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Um, Roofing and Claims Discussions, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
I've noticed a good bit of information there. Um, yeah, that's probably the couple that I pay the most attention to. I try not to pay that much attention, but I do. They show up on my newsfeed fairly heavily because I interact in those ones the most, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd add to that. I mean, you got to mention Dimitri of the Roofing Insights. I mean, he's definitely the most like puts out the most content of anybody in the space probably, um, and puts a lot of effort into that content.
He actually posts that stuff in that Name That Shingle page. I just seen
Yeah.
today that was in there. So yeah, no, exactly. I think his stuff's great too.
Yeah.
You can find it about anywhere. It seems like he's so ingrained into the social channels.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, other notable mentions, of course, is the ProLine YouTube channel. We post anywhere from 3 to 7 videos a day there, different long form, short form. So there's tons of content going out there. A lot of it's clips of longer stuff we do like this, but still a lot of content there. So it's always good. Um, uh, Joseph Hughes with Contractor Dynamics always does put out a lot of content as well, a lot of good content around marketing. And I see Dima put out a lot of SEO stuff. That's good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I've been following some of his stuff. I've actually talked to him here recently, and he's on the ball.
yeah, yeah. There's some really good people out there. I'll throw one last notable mention. Is Tim Brown with Hook Agency. He puts out less educational stuff, but his memes, he has the best roofing memes. So he wins the roofing meme game for sure. So all right. Okay, let me get back to the list here. What tasks in my roofing business can I outsource to VAs or third-party services?
Yeah, reception tasks for sure. That's one that it's a phone call, So if they can answer the phone and take notes, that and SMA, we used them for just that exact thing. They were fantastic. I mean, there was no mistakes. They were just always on the ball. So I give credit where credit's due there. Pulling permits, unfortunately for us, for some reason, government wants to take all of our money, but for some reason they require us to hand it to them personally with a check, which is the craziest damn thing you ever heard of. But most places you can set up an account or pay, have a card on file that they just charge. So pulling permits is a big one. Production management can definitely be done, via phone or text through a VA. So, keeping your customer informed. If you don't have a ton of automation set up or you want it to be a little bit more personal, having a VA kind of be the point of contact during the course of the production phase, that's a great place to use them. There's another company, and I cannot remember the name of it, that's what they specialize in. They're VAs, but production management's one of their big tickets where they're the people they hire were actually roofers before they became VAs, and so they truly understand the roofing installation process very well. So yeah, that's another. And then AR, for us, I'd love to have a VA right now chirping at some people over some accounts receivable, just consistently, saying, hey, where's my money? So that's another place where any of that work that's communication type work, absolutely a VA would be handy. I would think that even light bookkeeping would be a great place, like within ProLine. Not that you have to be using ProLine, but if you're using ProLine, a great place for a VA to help with some bookkeeping would be inside of the budgets of ProLine. That's not affecting your QuickBooks or actually into your taxable income numbers, but it's where your CRM is kind of helping guide what your profit is for the year or profit by the job. So, a VA could definitely help manage that and keep it maintained to where, as an owner, I could just go in and look and see what kind of margins we're running on each project.
Yeah. Yep. Had some discussion about this. Not to change tack here, but do you think that those budget numbers should go into QuickBooks and be added to QuickBooks automatically? That's something that we've sort of been evaluating.
I don't think they need to be. I'll tell you why. I literally stay out of QuickBooks. That is an accounting software. That is not a software I need to run my company. I need a CRM with some accounting features to run my company.
For profitability tracking and stuff like that.
Yep. I just need KPI reports and job costing reports to be able to run a really successful business. I will tell you, the only thing I get in QuickBooks to do is once a week I go in and I print checks. I don't even make the checks. My accountant makes the checks. They put them in there, and I just go in, click new, print checks. I print them, and the only reason I do that is because I don't give them. They're not signers on my bank account. If I gave them signer ability, I wouldn't even get in QuickBooks. But I think there needs to be obviously a level of separation between an accountant and business owner. So that's where our boundary is. Yeah, QuickBooks is an accounting software. It's not a business management tool. I think people mistake it for that too often, and then you got too many fingers in there screwing things around. That I can tell you, my QuickBooks was completely screwed up till about 3 years ago, and now it's always dialed in. My taxes are always good. I never have any questionable expenditures or things that are misplaced or categorized. Like, it's always right. So I would rather that. The only thing that needs to go from ProLine or your CRM into QuickBooks, in my opinion, is invoices. I don't even really give a shit if quotes go in there. They can, that's fine. But I'm never going to look at QuickBooks to see how many quotes I wrote. It's in my CRM. My CRM is going to tell me how many quotes I wrote and what the value of them was. I don't need QuickBooks to tell me that.
Yeah. Yep.
Payments and invoices. That's the only thing that accountants care about, because your expenses are going to come in through a different channel. Expenses, invoices, payments. That's all that QuickBooks matters.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Okay. So yeah, back to the VA stuff. Yeah, that all makes sense. What about using VAs like inside sales and having them follow up? Is that also?
Yeah. I mean, and I think that, yeah, absolutely. That's probably the production type stuff. You have to train them obviously on your process and what you're installing and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. We've personally never dealt with a true position inside sales. So I don't understand it well enough to give good advice on it. But yeah, for sure. If that's a route you're kind of leaning, then that's a good place to put a VA.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. All right. We'll do one more question. All right. What are some tips for quality control on jobs? How do you control quality on a job site?
Honestly, we do 95% of it through company cam. Our crews are very well trained on what we want to see on every job. So it starts with that. It starts with training them on what the expectation is, then training them on how to document said expectation. So we want to see, the ice guard so far above the eave. We want to see these certain things. And oh yeah, by the way, we need a picture of it every day, of every slope, every opportunity to put it on, whatever. So a typical job site for us will have 300 to 400 photos from start to finish. And so, and I literally look at every one of them. Every day at the end of the day, I scroll through company cam for probably 20 minutes, just seeing if I catch anything that looks abnormal. And then the last piece of it, just for verification, because cleanup is something you can't get a good photo of. So our sales rep, they go do a final inspection of the roof, but because of all the documentation, rarely do we ever find anything possible that we didn't catch in photo, except cleanup. Because here's the deal: a roof project, I'm telling you, 50% of a roof project is the cleanup at the end. I have very, very seldom do you get a callback of an installation error. Almost every time you get a callback, it's because of something found from the ground. It's nails on the ground. It's a damaged gutter from a ladder. It's something that you can see from the ground. Most homeowners don't get on a roof. Now, not to say you should hide things from your customer. I'm just saying 50% of a re-roof project is the cleanup. So, our sales guys are going back to do the final walkthrough. They do either get a drone out or get on the roof and do a final inspection. Just check off. We've got a checklist that we check things of: clean gutters, pipe boots sealed, flashings caulked, blah blah blah. But then it's going around. They each one have a magnet in their truck, and they get it out. They walk around the house to see if they find any nails. Obviously, checking for any loose debris, things laying around. But that's how we do quality control.
Yep, that makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Let's wrap up there. You're down in Hilton Head. You guys are staying in Hilton Head, and you're just gonna meet up with John down there?
Yeah, I think we're staying here. We leave here Wednesday to go to Orlando for like 5 days, and then we go home.
Nice. Nice.
My
You guys,
3-year-old has cried every morning. He wakes up and he's like so excited. He goes, "Morning, Daddy. Good morning." I said, "What are you doing, Hud? We go trick or treat with Mickey today?" "No, not today."
not yet. Not
He
yet.
is like, he's got a costume that's Mickey Mouse, and he wears it like every freaking day. He puts his Mickey Mouse costume on. He's so excited to go hang out with Mickey Mouse, go trick or treating. He
Oh
can't
man,
take it.
that's cute.
It's funny. Yeah,
That
it's
is
pretty
funny. That is funny. Are you guys going twice? You're going down there now, and then when you come down for RoofCon, are you also then gonna bring the whole family then too?
Yeah, we'll leave our motorhome down there, and
Okay.
then our flight is round trip to Ohio, and then back for RoofCon time frame.
Oh wow, yeah, that's fun.
So our round trip actually starts from Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Round trip back home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we'll. I don't know where we're going from there. Maybe the Keys for a week or something. I think, if I remember. Actually, we might be going over. Yeah, I think we're going over the Keys for a little bit, and then we might go over actually close to where John's at, over like Clearwater. I think.
Yeah. There you go.
The other John Starry.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, good stuff. Well, yeah, we'll wrap up there. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see everybody next week. Yeah, we're switching to this new time, so it's 6 p.m. Eastern moving forward. I guess 5 p.m. Central, and yeah, so we'll be on at this time next week.
Cool.